All right, everybody. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today I'm going to make a little bit different video than I normally do on my channel. I want to give you a little bit of a personal update because if you're clicking on this video and you've watched some of my other videos before, you're going to notice that the background looks a little bit different, sounds a little bit different in here. So I want to talk about some big things that are happening with me, with Dapp University, why things are changing, what's going to happen with the direction of this channel, and also do a quick look at the crypto markets because we haven't really spent much time on that in this channel lately. I think it's important to do that. So if you're new around here, you've probably seen my videos before if you clicked on this one. But in case you are new, hey, I'm Gregory. And on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master, step-by-step start to finish, break into the blockchain industry, increase your salary well past 100K, I can show you how to do that over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, everybody, so let's jump into this. So first I want to talk about, the big transition that's happening with me at Dapp University. Because like I say in the beginning of this video, if you've been looking around, this background is the first time you've seen a different background in my videos compared to what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So, I have moved into a new YouTube studio that I'm super excited about. I think we're gonna make some awesome content in this room that I'm gonna share with you all. Gonna really try to increase the quality of the videos that I make on this channel. I've graduated from the black box that you might have seen me in before with a little backlit background. If you've followed for longer from that, I was in a big room that sounded terrible, and so I had to move into this black box until I could get something else figured out. And now I've finally settled on this YouTube studio that I'm super happy with. And if you stick around towards the end of the video, I'll even give you a little tour. And I wanted to make this inaugural video, sort of take the studio on a maiden voyage and get things dialed in. Make sure the lighting's right, make sure the camera looks good, and focus, the audio's on point. So if you all like what you're seeing in this video today, then make sure you comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and be patient with me over the next couple of videos as I get this whole thing ironed out. All right, so that's a big update about, me moving into this studio and what that means for this channel going forward. So how's that going to affect the content of Dapp University? What else am I doing behind the scenes that you all need to know about? So, in terms of the content, because I've been doing this move, it's really taken a lot of my bandwidth. So my content's probably going to drop a little bit, around this time, probably put out fewer videos than I have been recently. Of course, I haven't been doing my live streams as much recently. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, in terms of content, you'll probably see a little bit less from me right now as I get things set up and get this whole system in place. It's just taking a lot of bandwidth. But as always, I'm 100% committed to, being the best place online for people to learn how to become blockchain developers and help them make that career transition into the Web 3.0 space. So as we get things dialed in, we're of course going to be doubling down on our coding content. I just put out a video last week showing you how to code out a Ticketmaster clone. So let me go check that out if you haven't already. We've got a lot of other amazing free blockchain development tutorials coming out on this channel in the future. And of course, lots of other videos just like the one you're watching where I'm going to talk about, what's going on in the crypto space, new exciting technology, and helpful videos for anybody who's trying to break into the Web 3.0 space and become a highly paid blockchain developer. All right, so going back to the live streams that I mentioned a minute ago. So of course, I haven't really been doing as many live streams on my channel this year. Things have just been a little bit slower in the crypto space. There's less of a frequent cadence of really exciting things to talk about. That's okay. I've been in this space for a really long time, basically like 6 years now. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Things really work for a long time until things start to pop. And then something really exciting happens. You get this, cluster of frenetic activity and all this attention on this space, which I do think will happen again relatively soon in the grand scheme of things. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, I have slowed down on the live streams. I've been doing them mostly, as exciting things happen. And I've been doing these emergency updates. We want to jump on and talk about that. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter because I tend to post those updates before we go live on YouTube. You can always subscribe, turn on notifications down below to find out about those live streams whenever we go live. And now, and since I haven't done a live stream in a while, I figured it would be a good time to go ahead and just take a quick check-in on the crypto markets to see what's going on, kind of tell you my big picture opinion of what I think is happening now and what's likely to happen in the coming months. All right, so now let's do our quick check of the crypto markets. Now, of course, nothing I'm saying in this section of the videos is going to be financial advice, not telling you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. So, how I see the cryptocurrency markets right now is definitely some signs of life off of what the lows were, several months ago at the end of 2022. Now, that's a few assumptions in that. I know people are mostly just going to be asking like, hey, when's the bull market happening? Are we in the bull market right now? I'll talk about that here in a minute. But we'll start off with a few assumptions because, again, that's always how I read these markets. I don't pretend to have a crystal ball. I always think about things in terms of likelihood. You definitely shouldn't trust anybody who claims that they do know exactly what the cryptocurrency price is going to be really specifically anytime soon. So anyways, let's go with a couple assumptions. One is I'm assuming that this is the bottom for the crypto markets. I think it's pretty safe at this point. We've seen a lot of the really nasty stuff in terms of the macro economy, probably in the rearview mirror at this point. We've seen, a Q1 pump and early into Q2 for the first half of this year in the crypto markets. And of course, part of that, coincided with a meme coin season. We saw Pepe coin blast off like crazy, saw some pretty insane gains. I think people saw, like $25 purchases turn into over $1 million in profit, which is pretty crazy. And lots of people are saying like, hey, meme coin season is back. Does that mark the top? Well, it could mark a temporary top for the crypto markets. Okay, we've seen these kind of go up like this, go down like this. But one encouraging piece, of data here on the charts is that, we kind of got down to the bottom of our bull market support band, have held this as support, and we'll wait over the next couple of weeks to see if that continues to hold support. It could retest that and break through and come back down to one of these other levels. But the likelihood that it would go down back to this level is pretty low unless something just majorly catastrophic happens. And if it did, it would be really unlikely that it would break this level and go even lower. So if you have everybody sitting around the same like, hey, I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to go back to $1,000 or $5,000, I think it's super unlikely. But now let's talk about the most important part. The question everybody wants to know when they click on these videos is like, hey, when moon? Okay. So like, when's the bull market coming back? Or we're going to see things get crazy again like 2021. So one thing you have to ask yourself is, are we already in the beginning of a new bull market? I think it's very possible with the price action that we've seen. Okay. Things could kind of stair step the way up here until we see some big parabolic, lift off. I don't exactly know when that's going to happen, but it is possible. But I think the most likely scenario here is that we're sort of building the foundation for the next major leg higher. So when could that happen? Well, I think it's unlikely to happen right now. And I think that one final piece of confirmation that we need in order to do that is going to be sort of the Fed pivot that everybody's waiting on. So what is that? In case you're just totally new and don't understand what that means, no worries. I'm an educator on this channel. That's what I'm designed to do. I don't assume that anybody knows anything. So basically, we saw Bitcoin top around, December or November of 2021. Bitcoin, pretty much all the cryptocurrencies, the stock market, everything took a massive reversal because basically everyone sitting around realized that inflation was getting out of control. And the central banks raised interest rates the fastest that I think has probably ever happened. Now, I'm not an economic historian. I don't know if it's the fastest ever happened, but it was really fast, really sudden, and it just changed the entire composition of the economy. It's basically like a really fast-moving truck that just hit a brick wall. And whenever it did, it's that most asset price is just going down. Now, a lot of people are waiting on sort of the Fed pivot, which basically means like the Fed stopping their monetary tightening. Now, lots of people think that like, hey, that the Fed's going to completely pivot and start reducing interest rates, going back to low rates like we saw just a few years ago. That might happen, but I think the most likely thing is that, the rate hikes will just stop and potentially hold at a high level for a while. And I still think that lots of people could see this as a pivot and a confirmation that things can get bullish again, not just in the crypto markets and pretty much all assets, because they don't want the cost of debt to keep rising. And if at the very least it just stays still, that's a firmer foundation for a next wave of economic expansion in general, and crypto markets could follow suit. Now, when do I think this could happen? So I saw this post from Alex Kruger on Twitter, which I thought was pretty interesting. He said basically the Fed has delivered 25 basis point rate hikes in its fastest and most aggressive hiking cycle in history. So a second ago, I said it was the fastest ever happened. So he's at least agreeing with me. He said it just means 90% of the Fed's hikes are behind us, if not all. He says his base case is a December pivot and a bull market gearing up in early August to front run this. So what do I think about this? Well, again, I'm all about likelihood here. And I'm on board with saying that like a lot of the hikes have probably been behind us, at least most of them. And there's probably a small number still remaining. And so to me, I would say within the next 6 to 9 months, probably the next 6 months, we'll see something the market, perceives as a pivot. Now, that doesn't mean that whenever the pivot happens, that's when, things are going to start, rip roaring again, and not necessarily just rip roaring, but increasing in value. You have to understand that lots of markets are forward looking. So they're anticipating changes happening. So if the market starts to anticipate that pivot could happen at the end of this year, just like he's saying, we could see a pretty significant increase in cryptocurrency prices to front run that opportunity, so that when the average Joe on the street hears that like the Fed pivoted, that they're ahead of them. So putting all that together, I do think that the crypto markets has shown some signs of life. Things could get a little choppy here between now and the end of the year, but I do think with the next 6 to 9 months, we could see at least some of these levels that we've been topping out at continue to break through and form the foundations for the next expansion which I think it will firmly be in within the next 12 months or so, which means right now is a really exciting time to be in the crypto space. It's really contrary to what most people think. Most people rush into this space whenever cryptocurrency prices are at their all-time high and making new highs. Hey, but that's the wrong time. And so right now, while I'm doing this, moving into a new studio, working on creating better content for you all, now is the time to jump on the space, double down on your skills, and get ahead of that next wave. Again, I got in the crypto space back in 2017. I watched crypto markets make an insane all-time high that year and then subsequently crash into an oblivion, but I doubled down my skills in 2018, 2019, built this YouTube channel, did lots of blockchain development. It was massively ahead of the next wave, and I was really glad that I did that. I think it's the best strategy for most people who are still in the space paying attention right now. All right, so now just as promised earlier in the video, I want to give you a quick tour of my studio that I just moved into, talk about some of the gear that I'm using. I get these questions all the time like, hey, what do you use on a day-to-day basis? What's your setup look like? So I'll give you a quick behind-the-scenes tour and show you what I got. Okay, so here is behind the scenes of the new studio. I'm in this nice big room. You can see I got these acoustic panels on the wall that really help out with the sound in here. Cuts down on the reflections. I mean, you can hear I still sound like I'm in a room, but it's not a sound booth like I was in before, but it doesn't sound like this big nasty room with all these gross reflections in it. So obviously I'm shooting this on my iPhone camera because I got my main camera set up over here. People ask me what this is all the time. This is a Sony A7 Alpha S3, I think is what it's called. Sorry, I don't always remember the model numbers. Again, I'm still moving in, so like I've got all my junk all over the floor in here. Want to make this a pretty honest, candid video here. I'll get this set up. This is just my minimum viable recording setup. I'll get it cleaned up and dialed in. So anyways, that's my camera. I've got a space here. I can put a computer if I want to in front of the camera. I currently have my computer in this box because the fan's kind of loud and it's kind of helping block some of those sounds. My main microphone that I'm using on this stand, this like Rode arm stand, is a SM7. Anyways, you get the idea. Yeah. So what else? Got these lights. I got two lights up here. This is my main light on my face. And then I use this one to kind of light up the background, but I do have this nice window to give it some natural light as well. You can see these panels are different. These are just like regular sound panels. These have a diffuser on them to kind of diffuse the high frequencies. What else have I got here? That box in the back, that's my CalDigit box. It's a Thunderbolt box. Basically, I just plug one cable into my laptop, and then it powers like my other monitor here, powers my camera, anything else I want to hook into my computer just goes into there, and then I just run one cable to my computer. That little dongle sticking out of it is the CamLink 4K. It allows me to hook this camera up into my computer so that I can just capture the nice camera footage directly on the computer, as well as my screen, which I record on ScreenFlow. That's the software you can see right here with the clips on it already. What else? Those monitors back there, they're Dynaudio BM5 Mark IIIs. They sound really good. They're on some monitor stands. I've had them for a long time, probably about 10 years, but that's the nice thing about studio speakers is they don't really get old. The technology doesn't change that much. They've sounded good for a long time. The desk, this is the uplift desk, okay? So it's a standing desk. It can go up and down. I just press this button right here. What else have I got? I've got this UA Apollo. This is the X4. Basically, it's got 4 microphone inputs. It powers the speakers. It's got a volume dial. It's a great desktop interface. This is just an old Dell monitor. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't upgraded it in a long time. I've got the Apple Magic Keyboard and mouse and headphones. Those are the Sennheiser HD650s. Anyways, I had those for a long time, and I like those as well. So that's pretty much it in terms of the basic studio setup. Again, I'm going to get everything kind of cleaned up in here. Dialed in, optimized more. My chair, you can't see it now, but I sit on, it's a Herman Miller Aeron. You can see it in the background of my videos, like that thing a lot as well. So anyways, that's a quick overview of the studio. People ask me all the time, what do I use? And that's it. All right, everybody. So that's what I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can definitely go to my YouTube homepage. You can find those free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you're taking Master Shortcut entirely, I can show you to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.